Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get rolling here, I suggest you speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5. All right, let's get into the Jon Gruden fallout because I got a lot to say on this. I'm not one for hair trigger reactions. I've thought a lot about it, talked with some people in the league to get some thoughts as well. But at any rate, there's a lot to talk about here and what the ramifications of this, why this all happened, and really getting into the corruption and the hypocrisy from the NFL league office, which is just knows no bounds, as Doc Holliday would say. So anyways, number one lesson from this: NFL franchises should not trust the NFL league office ever again and participate in investigations. To let them have team documents and all that, big mistake. You can't trust them. They just proved it. If you're an NFL team and there's some kind of investigation, you give over all the emails, all the texts, everything like that. This tells NFL teams you could end up losing one of your best scouts, a coach, a GM, a director, because you don't know over 10-year span what people are saying. They might not remember something and it offends some lunatic out there, and then you have this kind of ramification where you're losing a really good, valuable person from your franchise. So NFL teams should not trust the league office ever again in an investigation. That's lesson number one. Now, why did this happen? What was the timing is so interesting, whereas it came out at the few days before the Raiders were set to play the Bears, so well into the season. Could have come out earlier in the year, but it came out just before the Players Union had a vote as to whether to retain D. Smith or not as heading the Players Union. So it comes out then to invoke sympathy for D. Smith to help him get reelected. So obviously the league had an ulterior motive here on the timing of when it was released. Draws up sympathy for D. Smith. He was easily could have lost the vote. So this helped push him over the finish line. And now the league has D. Smith indebted to them in terms of being reelected, keeping his job. So why would the league want to get D. Smith reelected? And it's because they've taken him to the cleaners in every negotiation thus far. So they've gotten everything they've wanted out of the Players Union over the past few investigations. You think of the expanded season, 17th game. The NFL owners wanted to add more games. The players were resistant, but D. Smith helped get it done. Expanded playoff. So that's another one. Expanded Thursday night games to being all season long, when initially it was just Thanksgiving and then just a back half of the year and then half the year, whatever. They just gradually expanded. The Players Union didn't stop it because D. Smith was losing in these negotiations, caving to the NFL. So they want to keep that situation going because they're getting the better of the Players Union in all these negotiations. And now, to make it even more one-sided for the league, they have the Players Union indebted to them for his job. So that is why I think the timing happened the way it did. It was to help D. Smith. They had ulterior motives, very corrupt by the NFL league office, to not only leak this stuff, they had it out for Jon Gruden, obviously, but to help D. Smith and to continue to get the better of the Players Union. That's my belief. Now, do I know that for a fact? No, I can't have evidence. I don't have evidence of it. It's just my opinion from being someone who talks to people with teams and has been involved in covering the NFL for 13, 14 years now, whatever it is. And I just think all the timing indicates that. That's my analysis of it as an analyst. So now, as far as Jon Gruden goes and the Raiders, this is just awful. I think what has happened to him is a travesty and it's a crime, because let's all be honest here, how many of us in the past 10 years have said some words like that to a friend in a private conversation, not in public? Have you ever used the P word or the F word he got in trouble for, or anything like that in the past 10 years? Have you ever talked about some of the racial jokes on Chappelle's show or Key and Peele? And so the idea that this could cause someone to be fired or resigned is just absurd to me, because if we did that for everyone in the NFL, if the last 10 years you've ever called someone a P or what, those words, if you ever said any of that, you have to resign. Guess what? The league would shut down. There wouldn't be enough players to play the games this Sunday. If we all had to just be honest about it right now, that it would be done. Okay, I have heard scouts, GMs, coaches, players, agents, all use the P word in talking about players. It's just a commonplace thing. And it's not a derogatory way of saying it towards women, really. It's just talking about the player. So it's really misconstrued as far as how the word is used and how the media is applying it and saying it's misogynist. It's not anti-women, okay? The way NFL players, coaches, everyone, they use this word. It happens a lot. And I've heard more times than I can count these words being used. It's not that big of a deal. So I covered Jon Gruden his last year with the Bucs. And I've, know a lot of people from the Bucs who were there with him, who stayed on after Gruden left, were part of Raheem Morris's staff. Jon Gruden's not a racist, okay? That is just absolute fact. I can tell you he is not a racist. He, throughout his career in the NFL, it really is not feasible to be a true racist as a coach in the NFL. It just does not work, okay? But aside from that, I'll just give you, I could go a long time talking about different examples of how Jon Gruden's not a racist, but I'll just hit on one real quick. So that year, 2008, Monty Kiffin at the end of the season was leaving to go to Tennessee to be the defensive coordinator, with his son, Lane Kiffin, got the head coaching job there at Tennessee. Who was going to replace the legendary Monty Kiffin with the Bucs? Monty Kiffin in the Ring of Honor with the Bucs, one of the best defensive coordinators in NFL history. Jon Gruden has some excellent young coaches on that defensive side of the ball. He's got Raheem Morris and the defensive backs. He's got Gus Bradley at linebackers. He's got Todd Wash on the defensive line. All these guys were talented coaches, really good coaches. And who does he pick to replace Monty Kiffin? Raheem Morris. He did it on Christmas Day. I was at One Buck Place. He wanted to give Raheem a gift. He said, I remember him saying, I wanted to give my friend a present on Christmas and make it extra special for him. And Raheem Morris earned it. He was a phenomenal defensive backs coach with the Bucs, and he is a great defensive coordinator right now in the NFL. He is smart. He earned that job on merit. And Gus Bradley was a really good coach. He ended up becoming the Seahawks defensive coordinator shortly later. Within a few years, Todd Wash is the defensive coordinator of the Jags during the Saxonville, year there, where they almost went to the Super Bowl. He's a really good coach. He's with the Lions now. Obviously, Gus Bradley was back with Gruden with the Raiders, and that defense is much better after hiring him. So I can just tell you, Jon Gruden's not a racist, and the way this is getting thrown around in our society is just absurd. There is no common sense being applied here, and you got all these sanctimonious jerks in the media and some other NFL players who, criticize and take pot shots, but they're all being real hypocrites, because we all know in private conversation people say things and use words that could be offensive to some people. So hypocrites really irritate me, and it's hard not to use colorful language myself in this video. So anyways, that's absurd. I think that Roger Goodell, personally, has he ever said any words like that in the last 10 years? Has he ever, when he was a younger guy in college. I mean, what's the timeline here? So, we go back to high school and college. Has any of these guys ever talked about a girl's body with their buddy and say, man, she is hot, or anything like that, and talk about what they look like? I mean, then they should quit too. It's just absolutely ludicrous. So anyways, the hypocrisy of the NFL, and it extends in so many ways. You got the Super Bowl, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. These guys have said things way worse, yet the NFL has them doing the Super Bowl halftime show. Just utter hypocrisy. The Bucks, same thing with removing Gruden from the Ring of Honor. That's just a travesty. He's the all-time winningest head coach there. The players, a lot of players there adored him. People in the team loved him. A lot of people in Tampa love him, definitely more than the Glazers, I can tell you that. But you still have Warren Sapp in the Ring of Honor. He's done far worse off the field in terms of domestic disputes and abuses and whatnot. You still have him up there. You have Antonio Bryant on the team catching touchdown passes when he's a domestic abuser, but you take Gruden out of the Ring of Honor. It's just absolutely ridiculous, clown world, insanity, absurd. The Glazers should be ashamed. They're just too dumb to really know. They inherited daddy's empire, and they're sensitive little guys to media pressure. They're very small people in terms of testicular fortitude. They want to be liked and everything, but they're just so awkward, and they're not that smart. So at any rate, this was a hair trigger reaction on their part and an utter fail, because Gruden, definitely the best coach in franchise history before the Bruce Arians era. We don't know how this will all shake out, but he had more wins than Tony Dungy, had more division titles than Tony Dungy, won a Super Bowl. But Tony Dungy, great coach, did a great job in turning around the Bucs franchise. John McKay did a great job as head coach as well back in the 70s. So you can't take those guys away. They deserve Ring of Honor spots. So does Gruden. It goes back to, the Hall of Fame. Charles Haley, the Hall of Fame of the NFL's filled with a lot of guys who had character issues, not just using colorful language. That's definitely the case. But they say Hall of Fame is what you do on the field, and that's what they say with Ring of Honor. O.J. Simpson's still in the Bills Ring of Honor, I believe. So if you're going on the field for these kinds of things, and even off the field, if you talk to people that worked with Jon Gruden at One Buck Place, you didn't hear, when I was there, you didn't hear people saying he was bad to work with. I've heard it about others like Greg Schiano and other people they've had in the building. Gruden's a fiery guy. He pushes people hard because he wants to win, and he loves football so much, and he sees people not giving that effort that will lead to him chewing some people out. But let's be grown-ups here and handle getting chewed out. I know my first year there, I learned a ton of football from him. He was really generous with me. I had just gotten out of getting injured with the Marines, and I was a young green reporter, and he treated me with kindness and respect and helped teach me a lot of football, and I'll always be grateful for that. And that was the case with a lot of those coaches on the staff. Same with Gus Bradley, Todd Wash, Raheem Morris. All those guys taught me a lot of football. Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator. Definitely I can tell you he's not a racist. It's just absurd to even say it. So what happens now, I don't know. I think this is a dark period for the NFL. This is really embarrassing for the league when you go underneath it all, not just beyond the stupid media outrage and the idiots on Twitter, the blue checkmark brigade, who have to get outraged about something on a daily basis and whose opinions are really irrelevant. But this is embarrassing for the league that you would do an investigation and allow this stuff to get leaked out to try and sway the players' union vote, in my opinion, and to sacrifice Jon Gruden like that is just, it's criminal and it's wrong. I think Gruden should lawyer up and sue the hell out of the NFL. If he does some kind of severance with an NDA, then I guess he can't do that. I don't know how that would work out. But if I was him, and probably money's not a problem for him, I would definitely consider suing the hell out of the NFL, and going scorched earth as well, and revealing all the dirty laundry that he knows about the league. So at this point, the gloves are off with what the league office has done with him. So they deserve no mercy at all, because with what's happened here, I mean, I hate to say it because I think Jon Gruden's a great head coach and I think he's good for football, but I would be surprised with the media world the way it is today, and social media, and how cowardly NFL owners are to criticism, that he gets another shot at being a head coach in the NFL. I'm skeptical that there's an owner out there that has the fortitude to do it. I would be pleasantly surprised if there is, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So anyways, those are my thoughts on this fiasco, and I think the NFL should be ashamed and embarrassed. I think this just illustrates more Roger Goodell corruption from the league office, a bunch of Ivy League jerks who are trying to step all over each other to try and seem super smart and climb the ladder there and leak stuff to the media. The league office is just trash. And I'm really disappointed in the NFL for what's happened here. This is just complete travesty. Anyways, that's a video on this topic. Check out the mocks, check out our articles, of course, and thank you for watching. Please like and share and subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. But as you guys know, I love my readers. I love all of you. And I'm going to be back with you soon with more mock videos and hopefully more fun football stuff rather than talking about the league's corruption and criminality, really. So anyways, take care. Love all of you. Be back with you soon.